Okay.
Hi guys, welcome to Zebra Thing. And this is Miko.
Anyways, this is my daughter Ari King, and this is my sister Tamia.
Hey, say Miko.
No. Anyways, I'm so sorry. I just want to come on here to ask y'all a few questions, okay? So, do you guys dream dreams? Dream dreams. Do you guys dream dreams? Do you remember your dreams?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
My dream is about, me too. It's about like me and Ari and my whole family.
Yeah.
Family going to mama and dad's wedding.
Yeah. And what do you dream about, Ari?
I dream about dad and the passed away.
Yeah, your dad passed away.
No, actually, that is so creepy. No, my dad wasn't. Not. Oh, remember? You mean the day when we had to go to that place? And
Okay. I have a question. So,
I have a question. When you see dad, someone can be your other dad. And Jesus. And when you shout at, you can get a dad a bear. And let's just call our talkings a vote.
okay, so
I want to talk about something.
no, because I'm
What is your favorite dream?
look, guys,
What?
we have to talk about dreams and visions. And
Vision.
so
I know what that means.
huh?
I know what that
What
means.
does that mean?
That means dream about something. I know what it means. You dream and then you say it out. Then you vision it in your mind.
Yes, good job. Tamia, you gotta get in the video. Okay, so basically,
I know, but now I'm going to talk and everyone's going to talk. Everyone's going to talk. This is just not
I dream dreams and I receive visions from God because I am prophetic, and that means that I can see into the spirit.
I do
in
so.
dreams.
If you can see or touch, that is an object.
Mhm.
Mama, let me talk to you. Mama, I was worried about someone seeing Jesus fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. And then someone was saying, "Oh my God."
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were all taking a video.
Yes. Okay, so
That is.
I wanted to talk to you guys.
I was about to be angry. And there's what Jesus said. And there's another picture about some things where he believed.
Yeah. When he got whipped. Okay, so remember, I know this is difficult, but remember when Marlon passed away, you woke up from a dream and you said that you had to go and put on your socks.
What?
You woke up saying that you had to put on your socks and you started leaving out the room when you were like 1 or 2 years old.
I
And
was
you was
4.
crying. No, I'm telling you, now you're 4, but back then you were smaller than what you are now.
But I was 3.
You was 3 last year.
You was crying.
But I'm assuming that you had a dream showing you what was going on with Dada, and you woke up and you were crying and you wanted to put on your socks and shoes so you can go get him. And then
Who?
Dada,
Your dad. When he passed away, you went to go get him.
you wanted to. She couldn't.
I didn't want him to.
No, I'm
No,
not
you
saying.
wanted to, but they said no. You can't.
And then,
And then Dad was crying. No, he passed away.
okay, so I'm just telling you that we have the ability to dream dreams, and your dreams are special. The dreams that you get are special, and they have deep meanings in all of them.
I had a
And
dream like that too.
yes, and dreams should not be overlooked
It's like,
because I believe that you have a gift inside of you, just like mommy. And I believe
I
that,
dreamed about Chucky when he passed away.
yeah.
And I tried to go outside. Yeah.
And that's an amazing gift. And it's like, it starts when you're very small, like 4 or 5, and then it gets stronger and more vivid as you grow
It was
older.
bigger. You cannot live for that long, but spider crabs can. Like,
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, y'all, I'm gonna just end it here.
Bye.
Hello guys, so this is my feedback. So for my daughter, I didn't expect for my little sister to want to join the conversation, but I did expect for them to not really listen to the prompt and interrupt me talking about other things that didn't really have nothing to do with what we was talking about. So I knew that I had to redirect them multiple times. So yeah, that was not a shock. And I feel like they responded in a way that made me understand their level of understanding. What I wanted them to gain from the conversation was just knowing that their minds are powerful and that things such as dreams and visions and just imagination in general are things that they will experience as a child. And a lot of times children are overlooked and their dreams and visions and just their aspirations in general are not taken seriously. So I wanted to basically encourage them and let them know that yes, your dreams and your thoughts and what it is that you believe in and think about is important, and it plays a great role in how you're going to turn out when you get older and things like that. So basically that's what I wanted them to receive from that conversation. I think that they did. They did show that they had a level of intelligence by, implementing their own thoughts on the topic and expanding on the things that I talked about. And so yeah, I think that they understood that pretty well. Hi y'all. Okay, so I just wanted to share basically my testimony and how I've grown. And so yeah, who am I with?
I am Samira.
Okay, my name's Tamia Griffin. And so yeah, basically what I'm gonna do is talk about the spiritual encounters that I've gone through and I go through on a daily basis. And yeah, let's get into it. All right, so ever since I was a child, I experienced, I guess, paranormal activity. I would hear my name being called and I would be confused about it. And I also used to see big shadowy figures that was like the size of this hallway, super tall. And they would fade in and out of what I now know to be spiritual realms. And so Ever since I was a child, I knew that the world was way more complex than what we see. And I also used to get very vivid dreams all the time. As time went on, my parents started implementing us into the church. I didn't understand anything that was going on. They really didn't give us much understanding. They just continued what they were already doing. And I just allowed for my imagination to flourish as they were telling the stories. And so basically all I knew about that is that, Jesus saved us and that he died. And I didn't have no understanding at all. And so I continued with my life. And as I was going about life, I got introduced to a lot of things like molestation and being exploited by my own family members and the people that I trusted, which skewed my mindset. So I grew up being more angry and set apart, very shy, did not use my voice, and I just shut myself out from everybody until I got to the age of like 13, and I had my first sleep paralysis moment. And if you don't know what sleep paralysis is, it's really you're asleep but awake and you're just laying there, you cannot move, and you feel like there's immense pressure on you. And it was like darkness was closing in on me. And I didn't know what to do, but I did remember that my grandma, she hears and sees things as well. So I remember she told me if I ever have sleep paralysis, I need to either say scripture or call on Jesus. And I didn't have no understanding. I just tried it because I didn't know what the frick to do. And I did it. And the more that I said the name Jesus was the more I was able to move out of the sleep paralysis. And I was moving in slow motion until I was able to really crawl. But I still had like a big weight on my back. And so from that point on, I started having less spiritual encounters with those shadow demonic beings that were, I guess, tormenting me. And then I moved on to understanding the severity of dreams and visions. And I realized that I was a prophetic person and that I was able to see into the spirit and understand spiritual things. And I did go the religious route for a minute, but I realized the more that I was in religion, the more I got rejected, the more people looked down on me. And I don't have a problem with the belief system. I believe that the belief system is a good foundation, but there's more to what it is that people are standing on. And I realized that being boxed in is not the best place for me. So I still believe that there is a God and that I have my spiritual abilities because it was bestowed onto me. And so basically, me being at NIU, I foresaw all of this when I was around 13. I received dreams showing me everything that I already did, and every day is like a day of just reliving what was already seen. And so I realized that not everything is concrete. So if you know anything about like Marvel and how there's multiple universes and basically parallel universes where it depends on how people react, and if a person reacts this way instead of a different way, the entire timeline changes and goes on to a different timeline. So here I am now. I did foresee us being in this hallway, and I'm still learning how everything goes, and I'm trying to be open to other people and their perceptions on life, and I don't like looking down on people because of like sexual orientation and things like that, because I know that it's so much more to life than condemning people for these things. So I guess that's all, unless you have anything to say. Did you grow up in the church, or do you have any spiritual encounters, or do you have any?
I did. I went to church from when I was very young until I was 8. I moved, so and my family didn't pick up going back to church. But when I was younger, I did. I would hear these voices sometimes, like say my name or just whispers I couldn't understand. But after a certain age, that just went away. But I agree with everything you said.
That's great. That's crazy. Like, how did you feel about that? Like, how did you feel about those voices?
At first I was kind of scared because like, what is it?
No, for real.
But I just got used to it.
Mm-hmm. And so I realized that what people say regarding religion, okay, if you live this way, you're going to hell, or if you live this way, this is the righteous way. I realized that based off of, again, what I've seen, and I compare it to, other things, that you don't have the power to bestow onto somebody else their damnation and their condemnation. It's way deeper than that. And because life is so complex, you have no right to look at somebody and tell them what is their destination after they're dead and in the next life. So that's why I am where I am with my beliefs. And I don't really lean towards the religion aspect. Not that I'm against it, but I know that there's more. And it's, the Bible is a foundation. The way that they teach is a foundation thing, and it's things to be built on top of. As long as you're spiritually in tune, you should be able to grow on top of that. So, yeah, I think that's all I have to say. So, thank you so much. And yeah,
sharing your story.
Thank you so much for listening. Okay, y'all. Hello. I just wanted to talk about the second video that I posted on the topic. And yeah. I think that the video was successful. We had our own conversation towards the end. I did not document it because I felt as if she would be more open if she knew that I wasn't recording her. But we did have a heart-to-heart conversation, and she did explain to me that she went through similar experiences as me, and that it helped her gain a better understanding about her own life. And so I think that by sharing my testimony, it did open up ideas and doors that she could achieve the things that she want to achieve and do the things that she feels as if she's not able to do because of her lack of, I guess, commitment, or just not having the belief that she can do the things that she wants to do. And so I just went out of my way and further encouraged her, and really that's what I wanted for her, is to be encouraged for my testimony and me being a single mom and me going through the things that I went through as a child, and still being here in college doing what I have to do and trying to grow as a person. And of course everybody's situation is different, but everybody has their own struggles and their own battles that they have to learn to overcome. So I believe that through our conversation she was able to gain the understanding that she needed on the way that life works so that she can continue living life in a more positive way. Okay, I am Tamia.
And I am Lakaya.
Yeah. Hey y'all. So here we are. When it comes to my spiritual gifts, because I can see into the future, I used to believe that everything that I seen had to happen. And as I progressed, I seen that just because you see something doesn't mean that it's not a reality. It just doesn't have to be this reality. And because we are living synonymously with different outcomes depending on how people respond, we can have multiple futures, multiple outcomes, multiple possibilities. And one thing that I realized with all that I've seen is I still connect with the same people no matter what timeline it is. So there are key people that I always cross paths with, and if I don't cross paths with them at a set point, there are other instances where they will come back and we're going to have our needed conversations and we're going to grow in that area regardless of if it plans out exactly how I seen it. So with that being said, I wanted to ask you, how do you feel about my conversations when I talk about the things that I've seen, or when I say like, oh yeah, like I've seen this before? Like
That's a packed question right there to me. But I would say, I feel like you've asked me this question before. If you felt like, or you asked me if I thought you were crazy about some of the things that you said.
Yes, I did.
And I don't know. It's interesting for me because the way that we kind of introduced ourselves was in depth. Like
You had that long
we didn't know anything
Right.
about each other at all. But it was a very impactful conversation. And I learned a lot of things about you within my first time speaking to you. So that was that. As I've gotten to know you and hear things about, you already seeing things happening, I take it as just something that I would not be able to really understand with like me personally, because I function how I function, or I have the gifts that I have, but I don't have the gifts that you have. So when I'm listening to you, I'm just listening to you because that's how you experience life, or that's what you've been given. So if anything, I take it as a gift itself because you're telling me the things that you see and I don't see things in the way that you see them. So it's just, honestly, it's more of an insight thing. It's a different form of information from the way that I receive information myself.
And so what way do you receive information? Like, is it still spiritual downloads to just convert it into your poetry and stuff and your art?
I honestly, I'm kind of I'm undefined when it comes to that. I don't think I really have taken the time to connect the dots to how it's spiritually connected. I just do what I'm doing and kind of just live through that. And to be honest with you, I would like to get to a point where I'm actually connecting the dots to see more behind what I'm doing. But I'm very much just into getting out what I need to get out because I've concealed a lot of things for a long time. So I don't think it's time for that yet for me.
So when I do say stuff, like when I explain the behind the scenes of my own stuff, like how does that correlate with what you're doing? Like how does that help you or make you feel?
It allows me to know it's possible for once and know that it all exists, because like, you have the knowing that something exists, but you're not necessarily in a space where you yourself are reaching for that knowing or seeing the knowing maybe in a similar way that somebody else is seeing it. So hearing it come from you, it supports the fact that it exists. And honestly, like anything that anybody else does is kind of there for you to know that you can potentially do that in your own way, of course, because like everybody's path is different. But that's how it helps me, because okay, I see you, so I see it's possible. I just don't know how it's
Possible for you.
I don't know in what way or what path. Like I'm not there yet with that, but I like hearing you and I like hearing your perspective on things, because that's where the expansion happens. Like when I go back and I'm able to reflect on those things, then I'm able to, when I reflect on it and then try to apply it through my own things, I think that's where the magic happens.
Yeah, that's good. I appreciate you for saying that, because one thing I realize is when I start talking, I do go into like a spiral of just saying stuff, and I do want to formulate myself better, because when you speak, it's like it flows, but it's also a structure to it, and that's one thing that I think I'm missing. And I think that when I grasp that, that's why when I say, oh my goodness, like the way that you write, like, and the way you write is how you speak and how you are just generally. So if I apply that to myself, I can be even better. Like, and even when I'm speaking, because words are powerful, and what you do is a reflection of you, and then you receive whatever you put out. And so because I say things or do things that I feel like isn't bad in the moment, because I'm not structured enough, I miss out on opportunities to expand more and help other people, because I'm so limited. And I hate feeling like that. I hate feeling boxed in, and that's why I don't like structure, because it kind of puts me in that I feel like I can't express everything. And even when I'm in this class, they say that, okay, we like your stuff, but it's too wordy, it's too much. And it's like,
your relationship with too much.
Yeah.
That's a good question, because I'm not even trying to cut you off, but I don't know, that could be a question itself. Like the spiritual relationship with feeling as if you're too much, but also
not enough.
But also, like, even when you know that you're not too much, or like when you feel like you're not too much, but you have that ultimate knowing that you are not too much, but your external life is telling you or is giving you the message that you are too much. Like, how do you transmute that?
And like what I said before, like I go between extremes. So it's like if I feel like, okay, I'm being perceived in a bad way or just as a way that people can't grasp, I just don't say nothing. I just become quiet. Or whatever I do say, I lose my empathy. And I just say, I just be like, okay, well, if they don't understand me, then what am I doing? Trying to formulate what I'm talking about or the message that I'm trying to give in a way that they're going to understand it if they're just going to perceive me in a way anyway. So I just I'm not going to say shut down, but I
Withhold.
yeah, and then I just say how it is, and then that's when they get offended. And so that's why I feel like over explaining or doing more eliminates any confusion. And you know, it works for me, but it's also some people just don't have enough. That's why I said it's about knowing yourself. So people that don't know themselves and they're listening to me, they'll just become overwhelmed by me or overwhelmed by what I'm doing and shut down or shut out. And I don't want that. So
Which is why you go and you mold the way that you
I
emit
try,
yourself.
I try to fix myself to fit into the people that I'm around, or trying not to be too religious and thinking that, okay, I cannot do this. If I do this, then it's going to be deemed as evil or wrong. And I'm trying to break out of that. But even in breaking out of that, I have to still surpass different boundaries of, okay, how would this person receive what I'm talking about? How are people going to accept me or accept what I'm saying without me looking like I'm crazy or looking like I don't know what I'm talking about because I don't formulate my words a certain way or I don't carry myself in a certain way. And I try to just be as genuine as possible or just as real as possible, because I realize, like, even in the religious aspect or the business aspect, they change the way they speak so that they don't feel like they have, people like me, just regular people, don't feel like they have a say so or have they don't have like a good approach to that person. I don't want people to feel like, oh, I'm big headed or I'm too this when I'm really not. So that's one thing that I feel like I'm okay with. I think I'm okay with change. I do get irritated, but one thing that I realize, like, in my day-to-day life and the things that I'm exposed to, is I don't always get what I want. And even when I do see things that I believe is true and right, and it does not go that way, I realize that there's another outcome and then there's another way that I can achieve what I'm supposed to achieve. So I see myself here making this video, and I think that the conversation is kind of reached its purpose.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, I don't know, like, do you have anything else to say regarding like the growth that you've seen in me, or if you think that I should work on something, or just
I feel like we talked about that enough. I feel like you got
dang, really?
yeah, I honestly do. I
I
honestly
think that's
do.
a problem I have, and thinking that I'm not doing enough to where I keep asking that question because I
You're
don't remember.
enough, bro. Like,
I don't even remember
like,
me saying that.
You've talked enough about the things that you know that you want to do to expand, to grow, to not stay in a place where it's just stagnance. You talked about all of those things. Like, you know.
So what is it that you think I need to work on so that I can grow you more? So I know it's structure, but how do you apply structure, or how do you know?
Thinking about my own process. Dang, to think about my own process. It's hard to think about my own process because I'm so used to doing what I do.
Yeah, and having to explain it is like,
Having to explain when you've never really been asked what your process is another thing too. Like, I think usually when it comes to me helping people, it's like more of a hands-on thing.
so just doing it.
Yeah, like, I'm a huge advocate for just action because I know exactly what it is to be aware of something and then not do nothing with that awareness. Like, I have elements of myself where I'm doing it now, and like I have to literally go back to myself and go back to that awareness that, okay, you can have your awareness, but it's about what you do with your awareness. You claim to be aware, but is your body aware? Like, are you embodying what you claim to be aware of, or is it still holding you prisoner? We can say that we're aware of things all day, but it's about the action.
Right. And that's why, because you said that, that makes sense, because I do find myself having to relearn old concepts because I missed out on things. And so when I do have instances where I thought I forgot my wallet and I'm over here Ooh, I literally had so I was rushing out the house, rushing Ari, everything, got to the bus, I realized I didn't have my wallet and I needed my one card to get Ari into daycare. So I'm like, oh my gosh, bro, where's my wallet? And I'm looking all over the place. I get to the building, I got buzzed in or whatever, and it's like every time they buzz you in, that's like an extra charge, whatever. Okay. And so yeah, I went and dropped all my stuff off. I'm like, okay, I think I dropped it on the floor. It was super icy that day too. So I'm like, bro, I fell and busted myself a couple times. Like, it could be on the floor, it could be on the ground in the street, it could be in the grass and the snow. And so long story short, I went back on the bus, and this bus route went all around. Like, it was like one of those hour long, you had to sit there for like an hour and really think. And so I'm trying to retrace my steps, and I texted my sister. She's like, I don't know, like, I can look for you, whatever. Like, I asked her if it's in the front of the house, because that's when I first fell, in front of the house. And she's like, it's not outside or whatever. And long story short, she told me that it was on the floor in my room. And by that time, I still had like another 40 more minutes on the bus until it went back around to the school, because, it takes an hour trip around. And so I realized that the whole purpose of me doing that was because I lacked faith, and I was so used to seeing what I knew was going to happen and having it happen right then and there or having it happen soon after. And I was so used to like the deja vu feeling, like, okay, I know what I know. Like, there's no breaking that. Like, I'm prophetic. I know what I know. Nobody can tell me nothing. I got a little arrogant. And then when I knew something was supposed to happen and it didn't happen, I didn't understand. I started losing faith. Like, okay, do I even know? Like, is my source even correct? Like, do I even have enough of understanding? Like, is it me? And then, Talia was telling me, like, it's not you. People have free will. They can choose whether to be here at this specific time where you were supposed to see them, or they can stay doing what they were doing and stuff. So I realized that, when you do lack something, you are forced to keep repeating things until you get to the point where, okay, I understand, I have the bigger picture, and now I know how to apply it, and I'm not limited to just knowing, and now you're knowing and doing, and now you're being the best version of yourself. So, anyways, thanks for listening to my TED Talk. Goodbye. That's all, folks. Okay, and so for the third person, my friend Lakaya, I wanted to, I guess, just give her information about how I was doing and what it is that she feels as if I need to grow on. And she is a very intuitive person. She's spiritual. She's understanding. And really what I wanted for her is just to give her a sense of clarity and receive clarity for myself, because I know that sometimes when you're so used to doing something, you can't really see your own problems and what it is that you need to work on. So I chose that time to really ask questions and have an in-depth conversation, because I knew that her understanding was higher than everybody else that I decided to speak to for this assignment. So really what I wanted her to understand or grasp from the whole conversation was, how can she apply it to her own life? How can she learn from me and grow from my experiences and better herself with the understanding that she has? And also, I guess, pour into me and better me, because I feel like she has the understanding to do both, to take in what she needs to take in and also pour out back into me and, build our intimacy and our friendship. And yeah, so I think that she understood that, and I feel as if the conversation went very well. I did not really plan the last conversation that I had with my friend. I really just went off the dome. And I feel like I rambled a little bit, but regardless of that, I think that it was a very successful conversation, and I grasped a lot from everything that I did in every video, and realizing that people have understanding. It's just not a lot of people verbalize these kinds of things, and not a lot of people take a lot of time to think about the complexities of life and how everything is interconnected with each other. And I think that my taking the initiative to talk about this really opened up people's minds to dive deeper within themselves, which is what I wanted, regardless of the age, regardless of what it is that they went through, whether it was my daughter and my little sister, or it was a classmate that went through similar experiences as me and hardships as me, or if it was just a friend of mine that I speak to about these matters on a regular basis. I think that everybody has an opportunity to grasp what it is that they need to grasp, so that they can be their best selves and achieve what it is that they're supposed to do in this lifetime. And so I think if I were to do this again, I would plan out my steps a lot better and limit my words to about 3 minutes and have more of a one-on-one conversation instead of just speaking at people. And that's just how I speak in general. I usually just speak at people and expect them to speak back at me, and I don't really take the initiative to have a back and forth conversation, which is something I'm going to work on and reiterate if I ever do anything like this again. So in conclusion, I think that this was a very insightful experience, and I would want to probably have a more questionnaire set up than I would do this time with me just speaking at people like I was saying. So yeah.